All right, so let's dive into this.
Okay.
A real challenge that I think a lot of businesses are facing today, and that is sourcing custom notebooks and planners and journals
Right.
after those tariff hikes on Chinese suppliers.
Yeah.
So imagine you're a small business owner.
Yeah.
You're trying to build your brand.
Yeah.
You're connecting with your customers,
Mhm.
and suddenly your costs just go through the roof.
Yeah.
What do you do?
Well, I think panic is not the answer.
Okay.
But instead think of it as an opportunity to explore new sourcing strategies.
Okay.
And that's where Cambodia is making waves.
Cambodia.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
Yeah.
But honestly, like, moving production halfway across the world just seems like a massive undertaking.
Sure.
Is it really worth it?
Yeah, well, let's break it down.
Yeah.
First, the cost savings are significant.
Okay.
We're talking labor costs around $1.50 per hour
Wow.
in Cambodia compared to $6.50
Okay.
in China. But it's not just about cheap labor. It's also about government policies
Right.
that encourage foreign investment
Hmm.
and make doing business easier.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Lower costs and supportive business environment.
Right.
I see the appeal.
Yeah.
But, let's be honest.
Sure.
Some people hear lower labor costs and they immediately think compromise quality.
Right. And that's a valid concern.
Yeah.
But here's where things get interesting.
Okay.
Cambodia isn't just competing on price.
Okay.
They're raising the bar on quality and sustainability.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Many manufacturers, including lion paper products.
Okay.
One of the companies we're looking at today have earned international certifications like ISO 9001,
Wow.
PMA, and CPSIA.
Okay.
These aren't just for show.
Right.
They demonstrate a commitment to rigorous quality and safety standards.
So they're basically saying we can do it better
Yeah.
and for less.
For less.
But Cambodia being so far from, well, everything, doesn't that complicate logistics?
Well, it's closer than you might think.
Okay.
Cambodia's proximity to China actually works in its favor.
Okay.
It means existing supply chains
Right.
for raw materials and transportation can be leveraged,
Okay.
keeping those costs manageable.
That's a good point about being close to China.
Yeah.
So walk me through this.
Sure.
Let's say I'm ready to make the leap.
Okay.
How do I even start sourcing from Cambodia?
Well, first, you'll want to find a manufacturer
Okay.
who understands your specific needs.
Okay.
Someone who can handle custom designs.
Like what kind of custom designs are we talking about?
Think embossing logo printing,
Okay.
unique layouts,
Gotcha.
and offers a range of materials,
Mhm.
including recycled and eco-friendly options.
Okay, so like lion paper.
Yeah.
They seem to tick a lot of those boxes.
Did you do?
But I'm curious, though.
Yeah.
What are some specific examples of how lion paper is using eco-friendly materials and processes?
Oh, they're really leading the way in sustainable practices.
Okay.
For example, they use recycled paper,
Okay.
soy-based inks, and even have a program for planting trees
Wow.
to offset their carbon footprint.
Okay.
And these aren't just marketing gimmicks.
Right.
They have the certifications to back it up.
Okay, so I found my manufacturer.
Okay.
What about the actual importing process?
Right.
That seems daunting.
Don't worry, it's not as complicated as you might think.
Okay.
But there are definitely key steps.
Great.
You'll need to understand the trade benefits.
Okay.
For example, under the Generalized System of Preferences,
Okay.
or GSP,
Mm-hmm.
notebooks from Cambodia can actually enter the U.S. duty-free.
Wait, duty-free?
Duty-free.
Tell me more about this GSP thing.
Okay.
How does it work?
All right.
And what do businesses need to know to take advantage of it?
Well, GSP is a program
Okay.
that grants duty-free entry
Okay.
to certain products from developing countries,
Okay.
and notebooks specifically qualify. Yeah, this means a significant cost saving for you.
Right.
To qualify, your manufacturer needs to provide a certificate of origin,
Okay.
proving that the notebooks were indeed made in Cambodia.
So duty-free entry, lower production costs.
Right.
Cambodia's starting to sound pretty good,
Yeah.
but I still have this nagging feeling about logistics.
Sure.
Getting everything shipped halfway across the world, dealing with customs.
Yeah.
It all seems like a potential nightmare.
Well, that's where partnering with an experienced fight forwarder who specializes in Cambodian exports is essential.
Okay.
They'll handle all the complicated stuff.
Like what?
Customs clearance documentation.
Okay.
Even finding the most efficient shipping routes.
So finding the right partners is key,
Yeah,
both on the manufacturing side and the logistics side.
absolutely.
But what about quality control once the notebooks arrive?
Hmm.
How can I be sure I'm getting what I paid for?
Well, never underestimate the power of in-person visits
Okay.
and clear communication before committing to a large order. Visit the factory, get samples, and establish open communication channels with your manufacturer. Make sure they understand your expectations
Right.
and have robust quality control procedures in place.
So far, we've talked a lot about the cost advantages and the logistics of sourcing from Cambodia.
Yeah.
But what about the bigger picture?
Okay.
How does this all tie into my overall business strategy?
Sure.
And my brand?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
And a perfect segue to our next topic.
Okay, let's get into it then.
All right.
So we were just talking about how sourcing from Cambodia can actually, fit into a bigger brand strategy. It's not just about, finding the cheapest notebooks, right?
Absolutely. Think of custom notebooks, planners, and journals as blank canvases for your brand.
Okay.
They're not just commodities. They're opportunities to create a tangible connection with your customers and reinforce your brand identity.
Okay, I'm following you.
Yeah.
But give me an example. How does a notebook become more than just, a notebook?
Imagine this. You hand a potential client
Okay.
a beautifully designed notebook with your logo subtly embossed on the cover.
Okay.
High-quality paper, maybe even a personalized message tucked inside.
Okay.
That's an experience, not just a product.
Gotcha.
It makes your brand memorable and reinforces a sense of quality and attention to detail.
I see what you mean.
Yeah.
It's like those little touches you find in a boutique hotel.
Right.
They elevate the entire experience.
Exactly. And it goes beyond just aesthetics.
Okay.
The layout of the notebook, the type of paper, even something as simple as the binding can all be customized to reflect your brand's personality and values.
And I'm guessing this is where a company like Lion Paper shines.
Absolutely.
They offer that level of customization.
They do. They're incredibly flexible and understand that each brand is unique.
Okay.
They'll work with you to create something truly custom, whether it's a specific Pantone color match for your cover, a unique interior layout, or even adding special features like ribbon bookmarks or pen loops.
So it seems like, this all ties back to what we were talking about earlier with sustainability.
Yeah.
If a company is all about eco-conscious practices, their notebooks should reflect that, right?
Absolutely. And Lion Paper gets this.
Yeah.
They're not just using recycled materials. They're thinking about the entire life cycle of their products.
Okay.
For example, they've partnered with a local organization to plant trees for every order they receive, offsetting their carbon footprint.
Okay. I'm sold on the brand building potential.
Okay.
But what about the bottom line?
Right.
Does sourcing from Cambodia actually make financial sense?
Let's go back to that table we talked about earlier.
Right.
Not only are labor costs significantly lower in Cambodia, but notebooks also qualify for duty-free entry into the U.S. Under the Generalized System of Preferences, or GSP.
For the GSP.
Yeah.
But I still have some questions about it. What are the long-term benefits of GSP?
Okay.
Does it ever expire?
Good question.
Yeah.
GSP is designed to help developing countries boost their economies through trade. For Cambodia, it's been a game changer. The program is reviewed periodically by the U.S. government.
Okay.
But for now, notebooks from Cambodia continue to enjoy duty-free status, giving you a predictable cost advantage.
So we've got lower production costs,
Right.
duty-free access to the U.S. market, and the ability to create truly custom products that reflect a brand's values.
Absolutely.
What's not to love?
Well, there are always challenges and risks to consider when venturing into new sourcing territories, and we'll delve into those next.
Okay.
But overall, Cambodia presents a compelling opportunity for businesses looking for quality, affordability, and a commitment to sustainability.
Let's talk about those challenges then.
Okay.
What are some of the potential hurdles that businesses might encounter? When sourcing from Cambodia, we've been talking about all the positives of sourcing from Cambodia, but, I know there are always two sides to every story.
Sure.
What are some challenges or risks that businesses should be aware of?
You're absolutely right. No sourcing decision is without its complexities.
Okay.
Let's start with logistics.
Okay.
While Cambodia's export network is growing, it's still relatively new compared to, say, China.
So what kinds of logistical headaches are we talking about?
Well, finding experienced freight forwarders who specialize in Cambodian exports is crucial.
Okay.
They need to navigate local regulations and ensure smooth customs clearance. Documentation can also be tricky.
In what way?
Well, for example, getting the certificate of origin, right, is essential for proving the notebooks qualify for duty-free entry under GSP.
Right. And what about communication?
Yeah.
I imagine, language barriers could be an issue.
Yes, while English is increasingly common in Cambodian business settings,
Okay.
it's wise to have a solid plan for clear communication, especially when you're dealing with complex designs or technical specifications.
Okay.
You might consider working with a translator or finding a manufacturer who has English-speaking staff.
So it's all about being prepared.
Yeah.
And having the right partners in place.
Absolutely.
What about quality control? We've talked about certifications.
Right.
But are there other things businesses should be doing to ensure that they're getting, top-notch notebooks?
Certifications are a great starting point, but don't stop there.
Okay.
Think of them as a baseline. Ideally, visit the factory in person, get samples, and have open communication channels with your manufacturer throughout the production process.
Right.
Don't be afraid to ask questions and address any concerns you have.
That makes sense. It's about building a relationship.
Yeah.
Not just placing an order.
Right.
Are there any other potential risks?
Sure.
Maybe something bigger picture that we haven't talked about yet?
One thing to keep in mind is political and economic stability.
Okay.
Cambodia has made remarkable progress.
Right.
But like any country, there are always political and economic factors that could impact business operations.
So how can businesses stay informed and mitigate those risks?
Well, stay updated on current events.
Okay.
Subscribe to industry newsletters.
Okay.
And consider consulting with experts who specialize in the region.
All right. So it's about being proactive and informed.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've talked about the challenges, but let's end on a positive note. What are some key takeaways for businesses looking to make this leap?
Sure.
What advice would you give them?
I'd say, first and foremost, do your due diligence.
Okay.
Choose your manufacturing partner carefully.
Okay.
Look for a company like Lion Paper.
Right.
With a proven track record, strong ethical standards, and a genuine commitment to sustainability. Don't just focus on the bottom line.
Okay.
Consider the bigger picture. Your brand values the quality of the product.
Right.
And the long-term impact of your sourcing decisions.
So it's not just about finding the cheapest option. It's about finding the right partner.
Exactly. And communication is key.
Okay.
Establish clear expectations from the get-go and maintain open communication throughout the process.
Right.
This will help prevent misunderstandings and ensure that everyone is on the same page.
And don't be afraid to ask for help.
Yeah.
Find a freight forwarder who specializes in Cambodian exports.
Right.
Consult with experts on the region and build relationships with people who can guide you through the process.
That's great advice. And finally, I'd say be adaptable.
Okay.
The global sourcing landscape is constantly shifting.
Right.
So be prepared to adjust your strategies as needed.
Okay.
Stay informed, stay curious, and don't be afraid to explore new possibilities.
This has been a really insightful deep dive.
It has.
We've explored the ins and outs of sourcing custom notebooks from Cambodia, from the cost advantages of logistical considerations to the importance of sustainability and brand building.
Absolutely.
As we wrap up, I would leave you with one final thought.
Okay.
As the world becomes increasingly interconnected and consumer expectations evolve, how will your sourcing decisions shape not just your products, but the very identity of your brand?